Ask anyone who has shopped for a car recently, and they will tell you it is not easy.
It's
Wholesale
not easy
prices.
or cheap.
It's not easy. It's not cheap. It's not fun. Why not do it? Because you have to have a car, right? Well, wholesale prices are slowly dropping, but that does not mean that you're going to get to pay less right now.
Kelsey Kernstein joins us to explain all of this. Kelsey, it's just been a jungle out there when it comes to car buying.
Yeah, and this is definitely going to make you mad when you hear this. Economists say that dealers are paying less for cars right now and customers are paying more, so they suggest that dealers are keeping the profit. So take a look at these percentage drops in the price of a car. The wholesale of a used car is 10.3% cheaper than they were this time a year ago. Wholesale used luxury cars are down 13.5%. Sports vehicles have dropped 12.3%, and pickup trucks are down 8.4% in prices. And although these car prices have dropped, customers are paying a whopping 7.2% more for used cars since this time last year. That is according to the Department of Labor's latest Consumer Prices Index. Now, economists blame inflation and the imbalance between demand and supply. The Fed's raised interest rates 0.75% to bring down demand and ultimately balance inflation. That is why used car dealers are keeping their prices high right now, because they know they can. But eventually they will have to drop their prices and get their inventory off the floor. Now, used car dealers tell me that if you are on the hunt for a car, buy it in December or January. That is when you see those prices will drop. You guys?
We'll see if they'll drop. Thank you, Kelsey. We've got Tobias Burns now. He's a staff writer for The Hill. He's joining us live from Washington, D.C. Tobias, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Nice to see you.
So your recent headline posted on The Hill says wholesale used car prices plummet as retail prices soar. We just had Kelsey explain a little bit of it, but from your perspective, why is this happening?
Well, there are two dynamics really happening here. The first one is a lag, and that's a legitimate there's a wholesale economy and then there's a retail economy, and they have different dynamics and different customers, one being sellers and the other being the end consumer, and they have different time frames. So it's important to recognize that there are cyclical dynamics here that are making customers pay more while wholesalers are paying less. That said, we are in the high inflationary period that we're having right now. These businesses and the narrative of greedflation, meaning that high profits are keeping, and the expectation of high profits are just keeping prices higher. We hear on a lot of public company earnings calls that the high inflationary environment, just the fact that people are getting used to paying higher prices, is what's allowing businesses to keep their prices higher. So there's a mind game element to this here. And it's important for consumers to know that their expectation should be for prices to come down. This is a temporary phenomenon. The Fed initially mischaracterized it as transitory because there were other dynamics at play here, but you should expect to pay lower prices in the future for things like used cars.
You should expect to pay them in the future, but not right now. I'm curious if there's anything illegal about what they're doing. If there really is greedflation, as you're saying, that they're just keeping these prices high because they've taught consumers that this is what cars cost now, and they're making more profits, and meanwhile you and I are paying more. Is there anything to do to change that, or is this just something businesses can do and we just have to suffer through it?
Well, look, I mean, inflation is a complex phenomenon, and it's an international phenomenon. It's important to recognize this is not something that just happens in our towns, in our cities, and in our country. It's happening all over the world for complex reasons. That said, every country and every sort of localized market for goods and services is different. So this isn't really a legal issue at play. And frankly, we live in a capitalist economy where businesses are encouraged to make money, and this is how the system works. That said, there are competing interests at play here. Consumers have one set of interests and businesses have a different one. And so there's not a legal recourse here, but it really comes back to that mindset and that set of expectations, which is that if you're not getting the price you want, you should be able to go to a competitor and get a better price. And that's how, that's really the advantage of being a consumer in a capitalist economy. So look for those deals, look for the ways to get around it, and put the pressure back on the businesses to work for you.
All right, that's Tobias Burns. Thank you very much for stopping by.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, hopefully you can use that as leverage. Say, see, I listened to this expert on NewsNation. You should be giving me
You
a
guys are
better deal.
scamming me. Now lower your price.
Yeah, well,
Let me know how that works.
Not necessarily scamming, but just maybe overinflating it a bit. So let's, throw mom a cookie. All right, still ahead this.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.